Picture this, a frothy, bitter drink, whipped with a special gourd, consumed by rulers and warriors, believed to grant strength and divine favor. Now, imagine that same drink is the basis for your favorite candy bar. That's the story of chocolate, and it begins not in a European candy shop, but in the ancient rainforests of Mesoamerica. For the Maya and Aztecs, cacao wasn't a snack, it was sacred. They called it cacao, a powerful substance used in religious ceremonies, medicinal rituals, and even as currency. A single cacao bean could buy a turkey or a pound of maize. Yet today, we've turned it into something sweet, mass-produced, and largely disconnected from its origins. Why did this transformation happen, and what was lost in the process? This video uncovers the hidden history of chocolate, from its ritualistic roots to the global sweet we know today. Let's start at the beginning. In the heart of Mesoamerica, cacao was far more than a food, it was a sacred substance. The Aztecs and Maya used it in elaborate rituals, from royal marriages to funerary rites. A 16th century Aztec codex records that cacao beans were among the most common offerings placed in tombs. The Nahuatl word for cacao, cacahuatl, meaning bitter water, was not just a name but a term rich with spiritual significance, often linked to divine favor and cosmic balance. Consider the Popol Vuh, the Mayan creation myth, which ties cacao to the god's own sustenance. Unlike today's sweetened confections, the beverages made from cacao were bitter, spiced with chili and flavored with corn, and reserved for elites and priests. Researchers say that cacao's value was so high it was used as currency, with one turkey costing 100 beans. As European explorers arrived, they would encounter this deeply embedded tradition and begin to reshape it. In pre-Columbian Mesoamerica, cacao beans were more than a delicacy, they were money. The Aztecs and Maya used them as a standardized form of currency, with each bean representing a unit of value. A single turkey could be bought for 100 beans, while a rabbit required just 20, illustrating the bean's role in daily trade. Researchers say the use of cacao as currency highlights its deep cultural and economic significance. The word cacao itself comes from the Olmec and Mayan languages, specifically the term cacao, later evolving into cacahuatl and nahuatl, the Aztec language. This linguistic evolution reflects the bean's journey through civilizations. Unlike metal coins, cacao was portable, durable, and universally valued. Merchants, nobles, and commoners all relied on it for transactions. As European explorers arrived, they would witness this system firsthand, altering the bean's trajectory forever. Understanding cacao's role as currency sets the stage for its transformation into a global commodity. In 1519, Hernán Cortés and his men encountered cacao for the first time during their conquest of the Aztec Empire. The Spanish observed how the Aztecs consumed a frothy, bitter beverage called zacotl, often mixed with spices and used in religious rituals. Cortés, recognizing its potential, brought cacao beans back to Spain. By the 1560s, European monks had begun sweetening the drink with sugar, a costly import from the New World, transforming it into a delicacy. The word cacao itself traces its roots to the Olmec and Mayan languages, where it was known as cacao. As chocolate spread across Europe, it became a symbol of wealth and status, particularly among the aristocracy. By the 17th century, chocolate houses in London and Paris rivaled coffee houses in popularity. This shift marked the beginning of chocolate's evolution from sacred ritual to global commodity. Its journey was just beginning. By the 17th century, chocolate had crossed the Atlantic and found a new home in the salons and parlors of Europe. In London and Paris, chocolate houses began to flourish, becoming the counterpart to coffee houses. These establishments were not just places to sip on a rich, spiced beverage, they were centers of commerce, conversation, and culture. A 1657 account noted the first chocolate house in London, run by an enterprising Frenchman named Jacob, who served drinks sweetened with sugar and flavored with cinnamon and vanilla. By the 1670s, over 3,000 chocolate houses operated in London alone, frequented by merchants, politicians, and aristocrats. The BBC reports that chocolate was often touted for its medicinal properties, a belief rooted in the Aztec term cacahuatl, which referred to cacao as a sacred, healing substance. As these venues grew in popularity, they helped transform chocolate from a ritualistic drink into a symbol of European sophistication. But this newfound luxury came with a cost, both economically and ethically, a story we'll explore in the next scene. In 1828, a Dutch chemist named Coenraad van Houten revolutionized chocolate with the invention of the cocoa press. This machine extracted cocoa butter from ground cacao beans, leaving behind a fine, dry powder that could be reconstituted with water or milk. Before this breakthrough, chocolate was a thick, expensive paste, largely reserved for the wealthy. Van Houten's process made it easier to produce, store, and transport, setting the stage for mass consumption. The term cacao itself has deep roots, derived from the Olmec and Mayan languages, where it was known as Cacao. The Aztecs called it cacahuatl, a word that still echoes in chocolate's cultural legacy. By the mid-19th century, this innovation enabled companies like Cadbury and Hershey to create the first solid chocolate bars. This shift didn't just change how chocolate was made, it changed who could enjoy it. As chocolate became a household staple, it paved the way for the next wave of innovation, the birth of milk chocolate. In 1847, Joseph Fry revolutionized chocolate by blending cocoa powder, sugar, and melted cocoa butter to form the first solid chocolate bar. This breakthrough, as noted in a BBC history of chocolate, transformed chocolate from a beverage into a portable, consumable treat. Prior to this, chocolate was primarily consumed as a frothy drink, especially among the Maya and Aztecs, who revered cacao as a sacred plant. The word cacao itself, as detailed in Cure for Humanity. A cultural history of the medicinal and ritual originates from the Olmec and Mayan languages, evolving into the Nahuatl term cacahuatl, used by the Aztecs. Fry's innovation laid the groundwork for industrial chocolate production, enabling manufacturers to scale up and meet rising demand. By the late 19th century, companies like Cadbury and Lindt refined these methods, introducing milk chocolate and smoother textures. With mass production in place, chocolate began its journey from elite indulgence to everyday delight, setting the stage for the global phenomenon we know today. By 1875, the Industrial Revolution had transformed chocolate from a luxury into a mass-produced delight. Daniel Peter, a Swiss chocolatier, faced a challenge: how to blend chocolate with milk. The answer came from an unexpected source, Henry Nestlé, whose infant formula had already gained popularity. By combining Nestlé's powdered milk with liquid chocolate, Peter created the world's first milk chocolate, a breakthrough that softened the bitterness of traditional dark chocolate and made it accessible to broader audiences. This innovation didn't just change taste, it changed the industry. Production scaled rapidly, and chocolate bars became a staple in households across Europe. The BBC notes that this era marked chocolate's shift from a colonial commodity to a global treat. Meanwhile, the word cacao itself, rooted in the Olmec and Mayan languages, now described a product far removed from its sacred origins. With this new form of chocolate came new consumption habits, setting the stage for the modern chocolate industry we know today. By the 16th century, cacao had transformed from a sacred Mesoamerican ritual drink into a European luxury good, sparking a global demand that reshaped entire regions. Consider West Africa, where by the early 20th century, cacao became a cornerstone of colonial economies. In Côte d'Ivoire, now the world's largest producer, European powers imposed brutal systems to meet this demand. A 2019 report by the International Labour Organization revealed that between 1900 and 1940, forced labor was widespread, with children and adults coerced into harvesting cacao under harsh conditions. The roots of this exploitation trace back to the very name of the crop, cacao, derived from the Olmec and Mayan word cacao, a term that once carried deep cultural significance. Yet, by the colonial era, it had become a symbol of extraction. As empires expanded, so did the human cost of chocolate. This legacy of coercion continues to shape the industry today, setting the stage for the next chapter in chocolate's complex journey. Today, 70% of the world's cacao is grown in West Africa, with Ghana and the Ivory Coast alone accounting for over 60% of global production. A recent report from the International Cocoa Organization highlights how this concentration has created deep economic dependencies, echoing colonial-era patterns. Consider the case of Côte d'Ivoire, where cocoa farming supports nearly 6 million people, yet the country remains one of the least developed in the world. The journey from bean to bar is long and complex, shaped by centuries of trade and exploitation. The word cacao itself traces back to the Olmec and Mayan languages, a reminder of the crop's ancient origins. As we trace the roots of chocolate, it becomes clear that its modern supply chains are more than just agricultural. They are a living history of power, labor, and transformation. This global network sets the stage for the next chapter in chocolate story. In the 20th century, chocolate transformed from a luxury to a staple of everyday indulgence, driven by mass production and clever marketing. Hershey's, for example, capitalized on the affordability of milk chocolate, making it accessible to the average American household. By the 1930s, Mars introduced the Snickers bar, a creation that combined nougat, caramel, and peanuts in a way that redefined the candy bar. These brands didn't just sell chocolate, they sold a lifestyle. The word cacao itself traces back to the Olmec and Mayan languages, a reminder of its ancient roots. Yet in the modern era, it became a symbol of consumer culture. Post-war prosperity in the U.S. only accelerated demand, turning candy bars into a $10 billion industry by the 1980s. As chocolate became more than a treat, it began shaping how we think about pleasure, branding, and identity, setting the stage for the global phenomenon it is today. By the 21st century, chocolate had firmly settled into its role as a symbol of prestige. Luxury brands like Valrhona and Godiva craft their chocolates with single-origin beans and intricate flavor profiles, pricing them at premium levels that echo the exclusivity once reserved for cacao in Mesoamerican courts. A 2022 market analysis revealed that the global luxury chocolate market is projected to grow by 6% annually through 2030, driven by consumers who treat chocolate as an indulgence rather than a snack. This mirrors the historical use of cacao among Aztec elites, where the Nahuatl term cacahuatl referred not just to the bean, but to a substance imbued with ritual and power. Consider Valrhona's 100% cacao bars, sold at specialty shops for over $20, each bite a modern echo of ancient feasts. As chocolate continues to evolve, its roots in ritual and rarity remain, setting the stage for its next transformation. By the 16th century, cacao had crossed the Atlantic, transforming from a sacred Mesoamerican beverage into a European luxury. The Aztecs called it cacahuatl, a word rooted in Nahuatl, and used it in ceremonies, often mixed with spices and chili. Centuries later, European traders added sugar, turning it into a sweet symbol of wealth. Consider Spain's royal courts. By the 1700s, chocolate houses had emerged in cities like London and Paris, frequented by aristocrats and merchants alike. This shift wasn't just culinary, it was economic. The cacao trade fueled colonial expansion, linking continents through plantations and ports. The BBC notes how cacao evolved from ritual to commodity, illustrating how cultural values shape global markets. As chocolate became mass-produced, it lost its sacred roots, but gained a new identity, a treat for the masses. This transformation mirrors broader shifts in trade, taste, and technology. And as we'll see in the final scene, this journey continues today. As chocolate moves into the 21st century, the industry faces a pivotal shift. A recent report from the International Cocoa Organization found that over 70% of consumers now prioritize ethical sourcing when purchasing chocolate products. This growing awareness echoes the reverence the Maya once held for cacao, viewing it not as a commodity, but as a sacred gift. Take, for instance, the resurgence of single-origin chocolate bars, which highlight the unique flavor profiles of cacao from specific regions, much like wine. This return to quality and origin isn't just a trend, it's a reconnection with chocolate's ancient roots. As we savor each bite, we're not just indulging in sweetness, but in history, culture, and conscience. If this journey through chocolate's past has sparked your curiosity, consider subscribing for more deep dives into the stories behind your favorite foods. Sources for this video are linked in the description.